SKOL Vikings, let's win this game.
Vikings fans, the heat is officially on in Minnesota. The loss to the Ravens has the locker room boiling, J.J. McCarthy under heavy fire, and Kevin O'Connell in the crosshairs. Momentum is growing in Minnesota to strip him of play-calling duties. Even Justin Jefferson broke his silence again. But hold up, there's some good news too, with a key defensive return and an unexpected breakout performance. And the final update? It's one that hits every member of the Purple Faithful right in the heart. But before we dive into every detail of this breakdown, real quick, let me say something. Hit that subscribe button. It's free and it helps this fan-driven channel grow. Smash that like button too so YouTube shares this video with more Vikings fans across the country, and jump in the comments because this space is all about you. To be honest, the vibe in Minnesota is tense. After that 27-19 loss to the Ravens, debate exploded. Is Kevin O'Connell still the right guy to call plays? Plenty of the Purple Faithful believe he's pushing rookie J.J. McCarthy too hard. The kid had a rough outing. 20 completions on 42 attempts, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and, to make matters worse, 8 false start penalties. That's no small issue. O'Connell has been forcing McCarthy into an aggressive scheme, almost like he expects the rookie to turn into a veteran overnight. And honestly, that feels like too much. Analyst Judd Zulgad from SKOR North didn't mince words. It's time to change play callers. He even suggested quarterbacks coach Josh McCown take over, instead of offensive coordinator Wes Phillips. And you know what? That makes sense. McCown played 16 NFL seasons, knows the game like few others, and seems to understand what McCarthy can handle and what he's not ready for yet. O'Connell is an optimist by nature. He believes his system can shape any quarterback, but sometimes he forgets there's no shortcut to growth. Fans want to see McCarthy develop, not drown in the system. Inside the building, nobody doubts the kid's talent, but there's talk he's being overloaded. McCown, on the other hand, is calm and patient. He knows how to read a young quarterback's comfort zone. Maybe a more personal touch in play calling is what this offense needs to unlock its rhythm. The talent is there. It just needs balance. The problem is, time's running out. Sitting at 4-5, the playoff path is slipping away. According to the Athletics simulator, Minnesota's postseason chances dropped to 11%. With the Bears, Lions, and Packers all sitting at 6 wins, the hole is deep. But the Purple Faithful never quit. Against Chicago, fans just want to see composure, balance, and protection for McCarthy, even from himself. Because if another meltdown happens, the pressure on O'Connell could hit a breaking point. Share your thoughts below. Is it time for McCown to take over play calling? Stick around, though, because the next story finally brings some good news for the defense. Finally, a positive headline to lift the mood. Safety Theo Jackson is back. And that's music to every Vikings fan's ears. After missing the Ravens game with a concussion, he's cleared the protocol and should play Sunday against the Bears. Kevin O'Connell confirmed it. Theo Jackson cleared the concussion protocol this morning. Translation: he's good to go. It might sound small, but for a 4-5 team clinging to playoff hopes, this changes the tone. The defense had been missing stability, and Jackson was becoming a crucial piece since replacing Cameron Bynum in the offseason. With him back, the secondary gains confidence and awareness, things that were sorely lacking lately, and the timing couldn't be more crucial. The Chicago Bears are suddenly hot. Quietly sitting at 6 wins and 3 losses, they've found some rhythm. But if you dig into the numbers, it's not all that impressive. By DVOA, Chicago still ranks among the 8 worst teams in the league. They've beaten weak opponents and folded against good ones. That's why Minnesota has reason to believe. And there's more good news. Pass rusher Jonathan Greenard scared everyone when he went down clutching his shoulder against Baltimore. For a minute, it looked bad. But thankfully, it's just a minor injury. He might miss this week as a precaution, but it's not season-ending. Those little wins matter. The team's been battered by injuries all year. Ryan Kelly, Andrew Van Ginkel, Jeff Okudah, the list goes on. But for the first time in 2025, the roster might actually get close to full strength. Brian Flores' defense still ranks 13th in EPA per play and 17th in DVOA. If the offense can just stay steady, they can compete. And let's be real, relying on luck in November is tough. But seeing Jackson cleared and Greenard safe brings hope back to the Purple Faithful. The defense hasn't forced turnovers like last season's 24 interceptions, but maybe this is the spark to reignite that fire. This fan base knows every bit of help is oxygen. Tell me in the comments if you think this defense can hold the line against Chicago. And don't go anywhere. The next update mixes respect and rivalry as a veteran Viking sends a strong message to the Bears head coach. This one made waves. Linebacker Andrew Van Ginkel decided to speak up about Bears head coach Ben Johnson, and it wasn't just talk. He praised the guy, acknowledged his genius, and warned that Chicago's offense is flat-out dangerous. Coming from a Vikings defender, that says a lot. Van Ginkel said Johnson always finds a way to attack you from angles you've never seen. He's not exaggerating. Since his Detroit days, Johnson has had a gift for designing offenses that look simple but slice defenses apart. Even rookie Caleb Williams is flourishing under his guidance. And yeah, watching a Bears quarterback grow that fast hits a nerve for the Defend the North faithful. Like watching the enemy gain confidence in real time. Minnesota's defense knows this game will be a battle. Williams is that type of quarterback who gets better under pressure. Former NFL coach Dave Wanstead even said he avoids sacks like he's got magnets on his shoulders. The more chaos, the more creative he gets. We saw it last week. 6 plays where he somehow escaped near certain tackles. To be real, that kind of player is a nightmare. The defense has to stay disciplined because one mistake and he's gone. Still, if there's a unit built for that challenge, it's Brian Flores' defense. The issue? Fatigue. The D has spent too much time on the field because the offense keeps stalling. By the fourth quarter, legs give out. The good news, reinforcements are coming. O'Connell confirmed positive updates on both Greenard and Jackson. Greenard might even suit up, which would be huge to contain Williams outside the pocket. If he and Danielle Hunter collapse the edges, turnovers could follow. But Van Ginkel's message goes deeper. It's respect wrapped in warning. Ben Johnson is turning Chicago into a smarter team, and Minnesota needs to match that with heart and precision. You won't hear this anywhere else. The kind of insight that comes from fans who live and breathe the rivalry. And if things feel heavy, remember, there's still light in the chaos. Sound off in the comments if you think Van Ginkel's praise came with a side of trash talk. Stay tuned, because next up is the story of an unlikely hero who rose from the shadows. Amid all the chaos, one name came out of nowhere to remind us what heart looks like. When everyone else hung their heads, Jalen Nailor showed up and played the game of his life. While Justin Jefferson had one of the worst days of his career and the offense completely stalled, Nailor posted 5 catches for 124 yards and a touchdown that electrified the crowd. Funny how that happens. Sometimes the spark comes from the least expected player. Nailor started the season as the 3rd wide receiver, almost lost his spot after a hand injury in training camp, and then had to watch as Adam Thielen returned to compete for snaps. Still, he held his ground, played more snaps than the vet, earned McCarthy's trust, and now it's paying off. This wasn't luck either. He made contested catches, ripped off a 62-yard run after a perfect pass, and even converted a 4th down on the move. That's poise. You can feel McCarthy's confidence in him, and Nailor gives it back with hustle. On a team full of stars trying to find their rhythm, he reminded everyone that football is built on opportunity. To be honest, that's the kind of story fans live for. The Purple Faithful love seeing a player grind his way into relevance. Nailor's battled injuries, spent time buried on the depth chart, and now, just when the team needed energy most, he delivered. But here's the twist. He's hitting free agency in March. Yep, his contract's up and the Vikings have to decide whether to keep him or let him walk. With Jefferson already paid, Addison due soon, and the cap tight, it's a tough call. But can they really afford to lose a reliable, speedy receiver who thrives under pressure? I'd say no way. He might not be a WR1, but he's an excellent WR3, the kind who punishes defenses that sleep on him. If the front office is smart, they'll lock him in before someone else does. This is the kind of insight you only get from fans who bleed purple. Let me know what you think. Does Nailor deserve that extension? And hold tight because the final story is fiery. It's all about Justin Jefferson, frustration, and a truth the team finally had to face. And now, the headline that rocked Minnesota. Justin Jefferson, our superstar, had a game to forget, and fans went wild trying to figure out what was wrong. Some thought he was mad at McCarthy, others said he'd checked out. But Kevin O'Connell cleared the air. Jefferson's frustration wasn't with his team, it was with the officials. Sounds simple, but when the most electric player on the roster shows emotion, the noise gets loud. O'Connell said Jefferson was upset about missed calls and unflagged contact, and who can blame him? The guy's ultra-competitive. He wants the ball, wants the win, wants the moment. When that slips away, emotions flare. After the game, Jefferson told reporters, "The ball didn't find my hands today. That's part of football. You just go back, fix what you need to fix, and move forward. No drama, no finger-pointing. Just focus." Still, for anyone who knows JJ's energy, seeing him that quiet was strange. The Athletic even noted that he showed uncharacteristic lack of juice, pointing out a couple of plays where he tripped or didn't chase after an interception. It gave fans flashbacks to the old Randy Moss criticism, when people said he'd check out during bad games. But let's be real. That's not Jefferson. It was just one off night. Every great has them. And if there's anyone built to bounce back with a monster performance, it's him. He's still on pace for over 1,200 yards in an up-and-down offense. He's the heart of this team, and he knows that without his best, McCarthy's growth stalls. Now comes the true test. The Bears are 6-3, believing in themselves, and the Vikings need vintage Jefferson to stay in the playoff hunt. They're slight favorites by about 3 or 4 points, but paper odds don't win games. Jefferson has a chance to turn that frustration into fire, and honestly, I wouldn't want to be the corner lined up across from him Sunday. You won't hear this anywhere else. That genuine fan perspective that sees no crisis, just competitive fire. And that's what separates the greats. Sound off below if you think JJ's about to answer back in a big way. Don't go anywhere. The wrap-up ties it all together with one last message for Defend the North. After a week like this, you can still feel the heartbeat of this team. Between McCarthy's growing pains, Jackson's return, Van Ginkel's respect for Ben Johnson, Naylor's rise, and Jefferson's fire, the Vikings proved they're not done fighting. The season might be hanging by a thread, but the Purple Heart beats strongest when the odds are against them. That's Minnesota. That's tradition. O'Connell has tough calls to make, the roster has adjustments to find, but the faith is still alive. Join the conversation. This space belongs to everyone who lives and breathes the Purple Faithful. Stay tuned. SKOL Vikings, let's go.